Tonight is going to be fun. If you have read the title, buckle up, because I have some truths to kind of tell you, even though the title is kind of clickbait. What we are looking at here is an M113A2. It says M113 on the title card on the right, Sarge. What the fuck are you on about? Let me tell you what I'm on about. This is a unofficial title that I have given the M113 TD, or Tank Destroyer, Tank Killer. The M113 in so many video games has been fitted with this gun right here, the recoilless rifle. We will talk about that in a minute. And they did actually do this, but it wasn't used quite for what you're thinking. And let me tell you why. So the M113 is originally a troop transport and armored personnel carrier that was used heavily in the Vietnam War and Korea, and we had a shitload of these things. They were supply trucks, they were everything and anything. These were very configurable machines, but they kinda sucked. They really didn't have any firepower because the M113 does not come standard with that gun on it. It comes with that 50 cal and that's about it. There is a door that is usually on these that drops down. It doesn't. Yeah, no. Some of them did have this wing open like this one has it, and some of them had, the later models had the hinge at the bottom where it dropped down. This one kind of looks like it has both, so maybe I'm just confused. No, those are tow hitches, okay. I might be getting that confused though, and if I'm wrong, please do correct me in the comments. However, you might have noticed that indeed I have kills with the TD. This is a TD, a Tank Destroyer M113. Now, indeed, they did, like I said, they did fit them with this, but this was more used on stationary targets such as bunkers and encampments and stuff like that. Wasn't really used against enemy armor, although you could, but I don't really think you'd be able to aim it, because your aiming shot would be that 50 cal rifle up here on the top part, and what you would do is that would be loaded with tracer rounds, and you would fire one shot, see where that tracer goes, and kind of adjust till you are happy with your shot and send the main round. This is why you could not use this in a tank battle, because how I aim this in the game, which I will go into a battle, it'll probably be co-op, so I can just show off how it works in the game and explain the differences between how it works in the game and how it's supposed to work. Go, yes. They didn't have electronic sights. They didn't have stuff like that back then. That you wouldn't just see it, but it's there. So like the Commander's Capula didn't have anything, and we'll go into another reason why this is a really bad Tank Destroyer. First of all, this is all aluminum. Every bit of paneling you see is aluminum. This is not very heavily armored at all, which it really didn't have to be, according to certain people. This sort of was the first trial replacement of the half-track. The half-track's biggest weakness was that it was open. You could snipe a guy if you were in a second-story building and take out the machine gunner, or take out one of the guys inside, or take out the driver if you were lucky enough shot. He was pretty well protected. But it was just very hard to really get these troop transports off the ground, so this was our first real attempt at an armored personnel carrier. And of course the M113, I love this thing. This is one of the first models I put together. This is one of the first diecast that started my military diecast collection. And like, but I've always said the King Tiger was my first tank in my collection, and that's true because this is not a tank. And so this and the King Tiger always hold a bit of a special place in my heart for that.
Take them out or capture their base.
I don't know why I'm not. It's just fighting us. So now this is fairly realistic for speed. Handling. I'm glad I did that. So what else? Those missiles is one of those hits where I don't know what. Did a little bit. This does not work. Works in the game. Drop off that hill. So pieces. But also, how this reloads is that in fact you cannot have this thing auto load. T-62, just this recoil striker was a tank. Wasn't shooting.
No good.
Doing some fairly decent damage. Ooh, that sounds nervous. Ah, here we go. T-72A. This is. I am effective in danger. I am a high level. Then armor, big gun. If they want to progress to this,
Enemy guns in their sights.
that was but they want to progress in this area without their units taking damage. Seeing that's just like if I want to keep doing what I'm doing. That object just can't. That object cannot do force nothing. Him and I, we don't see that because if I get spotted, that one shot kills 500 health, pretty much. I would say 400. Now he's hurt. He's hurt. But he's gonna try it again.
Enemy looking right at us.
Tank purpose.
Enemy armor is damaged.
Epic hurts. He's the last one alive. Now, let me tell you precisely why that aiming. Oh yeah, I got third place. Well, not one kill, but 3,942 damage. Not bad. First of all, that first shot that hit me, I hit right about in the front. Not really sure. I'll go into the modules and you'll see why that was very lucky when I said it didn't knock anything out, luckily. By some fucking miracle. So I was at let's see the T-72As. He fired 9 shots, got 6 penetrations and 5 crits. Okay, that's not bad. M113 was the best on the enemy team. So, emblem voucher, cause I'm gonna put that on this tank. Let's see, where are you? That is a very Vietnam-esque piece. The Jolly Roger, the peace sign. So on the other side, let's go ahead and put something too. Let's really get something that kind of is they really didn't put animals, or at least we didn't. Ah yes, the classic ace of spades. And since I do not have that, I'm not going to put that on permanently, but very much classic to have an ace of spades, and that would have been painted somewhere on this thing if it served in but let's go over to the vehicle. Let's look at the modules first. So first of all, you can see with where the crew sits, there are 2 of them, and that shot looked like it was, I'm gonna guess it was just about where my commander / gunner is. So it could have killed him. If it was to the right, it could have killed my driver. Now ammo. The ammo is stored in the back right hand just under the gun. If you are playing World of Tanks and you see one of these things, this is where you want to shoot, because this thing goes up like a Christmas tree. Also, on the other side is the engine, so even if it doesn't light up, you might punch through the engine and just completely disable this. Oh, yeah, armor viewer. So the thickest armor on this thing is 89mm, and that is the breech in the gun mantlet. The front armor of this tank is 38.10mm. There are several weapons that can penetrate that. There are armor spots as low as 9mm, and you'll notice that that's the underside, and that was kind of the problem that this thing really had, was if an explosive went off under it, it was fucked. Guys in Nam would actually take sandbags and take shit and flak jackets and just pat them under on the floor, or just try to give themselves a little bit more protection against that kind of threat. And realistically speaking, even that, which was a pretty good run for an M113, I still took a fair bit of damage, and I probably should have been out of that fight. That first round realistically should have killed me. because that would have hit something important, that would have hit my driver, that would have hit my gunner. These things are not TDs, they are APCs. Video games do this all the time. Armored Warfare, War Thunder, World of Tanks, Mecha Warrior, all put these in the TD role because it's not fun being an APC in these types of games. First of all, there's no real role for them to play. You're not doing a combined arms thing. Let me talk to the first-person shooters just for a minute. Call of Duty, Battlefield, do a Vietnam-era game. And I don't mean like Black Ops where we're doing spec op missions. I mean like Vietnam era. I want to drive one of these. I want to drop out the back with an M16. You know, because we were both over and under prepared for a fight like Vietnam, because the area that we were inhabiting did not bode well for what we were doing. This vehicle actually does fairly well in the desert, and we know that because some of these served in the first and second invasions in the Gulf War, and there are even some operational in Iraqi freedom. Now, whatever dude drove these had to have balls of steel. Because, I mean, I couldn't imagine taking this thing into even modern. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to stare down a T-80 UI, T-90A, T-90 UAV, or a Leopard AVI. No. And you're about to say, but sarg, you put those things against all. Those are all MBTs. Oh, I'm glad you know what an MBT is. But MBTs definitely would be taking shots at this thing. All of them. Well, smart. Spot. Now we run for our fucking lives. Now, this thing didn't handle well. It did actually handle well for what I've heard. Again, if any of you have gotten the pleasure or displeasure to learn, whoa, hello, right in this thing, let me know. Now, I am definitely doing the wrong thing. Oh, there's the hiss.
Target is hit.
Now, that also, well, that thing's dead. I can see movement. In game reasons, just I have a dual zoom on my. It is time to start getting behind the rock. Let's go, baby.
Impressive kill.
We are just there to shit for battle.
Enemies are capturing our base.
See, that's what I mean. That hit really hard. Did I just bounce a shot?
Enemies are capturing our base.
street. Well, hey, we don't believe in work on the streets. Indeed, I'm not fast enough to get out of there in time. It is what it is. I should have left earlier. But going on to like what this thing would have been realistically up against would have been small arms fire from like an AK or something, which it could block. It was never designed to go through tank on tank combat, because first of all, BMP-1 is a APC, but I kind of hate to say it, the BMP-1 does it a little better. Even though this is more IFV than APC, but that's a debate for another day, just because of, I mean, you look at this thing. It has 3 crew members, comes with a commander, a driver, and a gunner. And they have viewports all over this little dude. The armor is it's honestly not that great. And like I said, we did do that. We did put the 105 guns on them. They just weren't used very often for obvious reasons. Now let me just tell you guys something that these things are still used for. Smaller countries use them as riot and rescue vehicles. Some moderate countries actually still use these things in their military, mainly because, well, they don't got shit else and they're nice. Hello and goodbye. Anyway, when it comes to the M113, I'm sad to say it because I love the damn thing. I would happily drive one. It is not what it appears to be. But I'm Sarge. I'll see you on the next Sarge's Recap.